This is my review of the Marmot Militia Hammer Forged barrel in my 22 cal Marauder. It was drop-in ready. In the video, I'll be shooting from this bipod with magazines and pulling the pellets right out of the tin. This barrel is absolutely awesome. I can't say enough good things about it. I tuned my Marauder for these Air Arms pellets. The last 4 out of the 30 shot string dropped below 900 feet a second. So with those 4, it's 29 foot-pounds. So most of these pellets were right around the 30 foot-pound mark, minus those last 4 shots. And I pumped every 10 shots during the testing. We'll start out with the Air Arms 16 grains at 25 yards. My indoor range has very poor lighting, so I was fighting with my scope cam trying to get a good picture. I had to illuminate the reticle. 50 yards, it isn't that bad, but yeah, it was rough getting the lighting in. It's still a pretty decent group at 25 yards. Here's the JSB 5.50 head diameter pellets, I believe. I adjusted the lighting on this one, trying to get it a little better. I was fighting it the whole time. Again, another decent group for 25 yards. Next was the 18 grain JSB's 5.52 head diameter. Figured out my lighting situation and my reticle illumination, and I promise you that I actually took 5 shots on this. There's 5 pellets that went through this hole. I've never had this happen before, but I assure you there's 5 pellets in that hole. See what I mean? In the same exact hole. Here's the 21 grain Barracudas and 5.52 head diameter. I had a higher hope for these pellets. I really wanted them to do well. I mean, they do decent at 25 yards, as you can see, with other pellets that are doing much better. I highly doubt I'll ever shoot these again through this barrel. Here's a 25 grain JSB exact. I was shocked at these pellets. They slapped down a really nice group here at 25 yards. I only shot a few pellets at 50, the ones that did the best. You'll see what happens to these at 50, and it was very interesting. That's a pretty good group at 25 yards. And here's the Crosman Premiers in the tin. I ran out of the boxes, so here's the tin that I had. I was pretty surprised at what they did at 25 yards. It was good enough to move on to the 50-yard mark. Here's the Beam and Kodiak copper-coated pellets. I do not recommend shooting these pellets through this barrel. It felt rough, pushing the bolt forward, pushing the pellet into the barrel every single shot. It just felt very rough, like I was grinding the pellet into the barrel. They did not make the 50-yard cut. Here's the Barracuda 21 grain 5.51 head diameter. I like shooting the different diameters. I think it's neat how it just proves that the same pellet in a different head diameter makes a big difference in your rifle, especially with this close tolerance barrel that Marmot Militia has put out. Here's the 18 grain JSB and 5.53 head diameter. It did decent. I did shoot it at 50 yards, and you can tell the difference between 5.50, 5.52, and 5.53. It's, like I said before, it's just amazing to me anyway that a different head diameter that small makes a huge difference. Here's the Air Arms Diablo Fields at 50 yards. They made the cut. It's my favorite pellet for this barrel. It produces the most consistent groups I've found. I've been shooting them all summer long, and I've been shooting a few of the 18 grains as well. But these Air Arms pellets really just they're most consistent with this barrel. There's a 1/2-inch group at 50 yards with the Benjamin Marauder. Here's the 5.50 18 grain JSBs. I shot a lot of these during the summer during my testing, and I know I've put down better groups than this without the scope cam, so this is one of the pellets I shot at the end of this video. I put the camera up at 50 yards at the target instead of at the scope cam, and I shot my eye through the scope, and I had one flyer, you'll see. Here's the 5.52 head diameter 18 grain JSBs at 50. I definitely need to pick up more of these because they impressed me greatly. I didn't really shoot too many of them during the summer, but this video made me a believer in them. That is a fantastic group. Here's the 5.52 head diameter 21 grain Barracudas at 50. Again, they opened up. I don't recommend these pellets in this barrel, for my barrel anyway. Your barrel might like them if you decided to get this barrel, which I highly recommend. But my barrel just doesn't seem to like them. Here's the 25 grain JSBs at 50. They must have been tumbling because I could barely hit the target. You can see the one hole's very wide. Definitely don't recommend these. Crosman Premiers at 50. As you can see, these didn't do the greatest, but I was still surprised that they grouped this mediocre, I should say. I couldn't get a group out of this out of my stock barrel. I mean, I was over 2 to 3 inch group at 50 with my factory barrel. Here's a 5.53 head diameter 18 grain JSBs at 50. They definitely did not do as well as the 5.52s, and I'd say they were a little more consistent than the 5.50s during this testing. Here's the Air Arms again at 50 without the scope cam. I wanted to see if I could get a better group than what I did with the scope cam, but it was about the same. Sorry it takes a little longer. I couldn't edit in between. I do all my editing through my phone. Everything start to finish is done on my phone. Here's the 5.5.0s at 50 without the scope cam. Minus that first flyer, I'm flat out saying it, that first shot was a flyer. These were more of the groups I was getting during the summer without a scope cam. I mean, I was popping 10 for 10 paintballs at 50 with them. So, but now that I found out that the 5.5.2s work even better, I'm not going to worry about too much about the 5.5.0s. I'm going to stick with the 5.5.2s and the air arms. That flyer really makes that group ugly. I decided to give the 5.5.3s another shot at 50 without the scope cam, and they pretty much did the same as if I had the scope cam on. Again, I ran out of time this day that I did all this testing. I did it all in one day. I wanted to get the 5.5.2s on camera without a scope cam, but I mean, you've seen the group with the scope cam, but it is only going to get better without. Well, that's it for my video. I highly recommend this barrel, and I just want to remind you guys that all shots were taken with that bipod, and no sandbags or anything, just me, the scope cam, and the bipod. Again, thanks for watching. I hope it helped you make a decision on buying the barrel.